Hey there, it's Shauna with Neo-Feminine Astrology. Welcome to your weekly astrology forecast of April 22nd. This week is about innovation. We have a really interesting and important aspect with the planet Uranus and some other cool stuff that I'm excited to share with you. As always, I have 3 tips for you to make the most out of this week. So, first thing that's happening Monday actually is the Sun will conjunct Uranus. So this means that they come together at the same point in the zodiac. This is happening at 2 degrees of Taurus. And this is important because Uranus is freshly in the sign of Taurus. So it was in Taurus. It first ingressed around May last year, May 2018. It went retrograde into Aries again, and now it's fresh back in Taurus as of March 2019. So this is important because Uranus is going to be there for a while, for about 7 years. It will be in the sign of Taurus. And because it moves so slowly, we really pay attention to when other planets make an aspect to Uranus, because that is what brings this pop of Uranian kind of energy. And so the Sun symbolizes conscious identity, willpower, where it is that you shine. It also just symbolically brings a spotlight to things. And so it's bringing the spotlight to Uranus themes. Uranus is about freedom, revolution, independence. It is about changing a system that's been outdated. It's about doing something that is radically different, that is ahead of its time, that is innovative. And oftentimes, because it's related to innovation and like genius kind of ideas, it can also symbolize situations or feelings of doing something outside the status quo. So those are feelings that may come up where it feels like there's this excitement to change, or there's this excitement around letting go or releasing something that is outdated in favor of something new. This is especially important. This is especially important transit if you have any personal planets or points at the early degrees of the fixed sign. So that would be Taurus, of course, but also Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And the last quarter moon is actually in the sign of Aquarius, which I'll talk about in a second. But that's extra important for you if you have any of those planets at those signs, like 0 to 5 degrees, I would say, because you're already having a transit of Uranus. And so this is going to be like an extra highlight to you in the way that it's making an aspect to your personal planets or points. So the next thing that's happening is the last quarter moon. So this is happening at 6 degrees of Aquarius on Friday, the 26th. It's exact at 3:18 p.m. Pacific time. And so the last quarter moon is sort of a time of reckoning. It's a time of deciding and making peace with things. It's sort of like a prioritizing point before we go into the next lunar cycle, because the next lunation is the new moon in Taurus that we'll have next week. And so it is this time of like putting things in order, prioritizing, and discerning how it is that you want to channel your energy going forward. So great, fabulous time for getting organized. And we're going to be feeling that like leading into that all week, because it's happening on Friday. So the moon's going through the signs of Sag and Capricorn, then Aquarius and Pisces throughout the week. So it's this waning, getting organized, letting go, putting things in their place, so to speak. And if you want to know more about the moon signs, I put out a little cheat sheet on my Patreon page. So I'll give you more information about that in a moment. The other thing that's happening this week is Mars will square Neptune. And so Mars in Gemini squaring Neptune in Pisces. Neptune's been there for a while, like Uranus, also moves very slowly. So Mars symbolizes physical energy, physical vitality, also courage, willpower when you want to fight for something, when you want to do something. That is Mars type energy. And Mars-Neptune is always a little bit interesting because Neptune symbolizes where things are dissolved, where things are softened, where things are sort of blurred around the edges. Neptune kind of takes like a watercolor or like, water effect to everything. And so it may indicate where we feel lower physical energy than normal, or we feel like more relaxing more. I think it can also be a time of high inspiration and a lot of ideas, and a time where it's cool just to enjoy the arts. Neptune is also associated with media and the arts and just being inspired. And I would say because of this aspect and because it is the waning phase of the lunar cycle, it is a time where it's better to lean into inspiration, but not necessarily where you have to put everything into place and to do a lot. So I think it's definitely the Mars-Neptune can lend itself to like prioritizing yourself as well, like playing with that last quarter moon aspect. So yeah, great time to pick out some favorite movies, and or if you want to go see a show or something like that, or do any kind of even like, I'm just also too thinking of like reorganizing things in your home. I think although that does require some physical activity, that can be something that gets the energy moving and channels the energy, but that isn't like taxing or doesn't take a ton of brain power. And it's something that's creative. You're like creating a new kind of space for yourself. So I have 3 tips for you to make the most out of this. Tip number 1 is I want you to think sprint style. I want you to think about doing things in short little increments. So this week is not a week to have like a marathon mindset where you like really put your nose to the grindstone and just work for long periods of time. I mean, if that's your style, and if you need to do that, of course, go to town. But this week, the energy, you really benefit from doing short little segments, like do some work, take a break, do some work, take a break. And as much as you can, set yourself up for that. And I say that because we're in the waning cycle, and that Mars-Neptune, the other piece of that is that they're both of those planets are in mutable signs. And mutable signs, there's a lot of like change, and there's like these little short spurts of energy with Mars, but it's not, Mars, especially Mars in Gemini, isn't necessarily good for like the long haul. It's good for like little bursts of energy. So that's tip number 1, to think in a sprint style, sprint mentality. Tip number 2 is to channel excitement. So I think this is important because whenever we have the sun in aspect to Uranus, whether that is a transit in the sky or if you happen to have Sun Uranus in your personal birth chart, it's really important to channel your excitement and to channel this this feeling, this drive for change and innovation, and even maybe feelings of rebelliousness as well. It's important to find a place for that, because I know I have many friends and clients who are Sun Uranus people, and they're so creative and they're so innovative, and if they're in a situation or just a stage of life where they can't channel that, they can't put their gifts into action, it creates like a sense of agitation. And that innovation will come out in ways that can sometimes be more challenging, that are kind of like indirect ways, like being rebellious in a place where it's not suitable, like in a workplace or something like that, being like passively rebellious, like going against the dress code or not turning in certain reports in the way that they need to be done or whatever. So I think that is super important this week, is to channel your sense of excitement and that need for innovation as much as you can, even if that's just, doing some writing or talking with someone or joining a new group about a topic that you're really interested in. Tip number 3 is along those same lines: seek freedom and change. So again, this goes along with the Sun Uranus, but I think also the Mars Neptune, because there is a certain amount of changeability with that aspect. Again, they're both in mutable signs, Gemini and Pisces. And Mars Neptune, there is a fluid, like there is motion to that aspect. It's very different than, let's say like a Mars Saturn aspect. If we had Mars Saturn, it would really be like this time for seeking stability and digging into something. That would be like a marathon aspect. But this Mars Neptune, it's like there is a fluidity here. And so I want you to look for ways, like even just notice the times when you feel free, when you feel comfortable with change. So good reflection for this week. All right, I'm going to pull a card for us before this video gets way too long. While I'm shuffling this, I will tell you that you can focus on a question that you have, or this can be a general card for your week. And as I'm pulling this, you're just focusing on your body and your breath and where you are at this exact moment in time and life. All right. Oh, interesting. Okay, I pulled the Three of Pentacles. So this card is about teamwork. It's about collaboration. The story behind this is that these are essentially, like, it always reminds me of architects. Like they have like plans, and this guy is like going to do some work there. So they're kind of having like this meeting about this work that's happening. And so Pentacles is also associated with the material world, with work, of course, but also money, finances, the structure of life versus, you know, the emotions or passion or thinking. It's more about like doing and the results that we see in the world. 3 is a number that's about creativity. 3 in the tarot, I do find, like, I do associate that with working with other people or some sort of collaboration project. And so I think this is an interesting card too, because since we have so much energy this week around independence and freedom and like really it is more self-focused. I wonder if this is a reminder to bring yourself into situations where you can be authentic but also work with people at the same time, and that there's like a certain amount of there's like a gift there. There's something that is meant to be created with that. So I'm curious what you see in this card for you. Let me know in the comments. And yeah, that's your horoscope for the week. Thank you so much for watching and enjoying these. I love when you love the videos that I make, and I want to say a special thanks to my patrons as well. Thank you so much for your support. This totally helps me create these videos and then create other videos and content, and gives me a lot of inspiration as well. And I always love I love when you message me, when you leave comments. That gives me inspiration and ideas for new videos as well. So I am sending you a lot of love, wishing you a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon. Namaste.